So, Harry, you are a noted dog dad these days.
Sure.
Yeah. If you were to enter Lara, your dog, into a Best in Show style competition,
Okay.
how do you think she'd do?
Well, she'd win, obviously.
Really?
She's the best dog.
You know Louise is probably not going to listen to this. It's fine. You can be honest.
I don't think that she would do very well.
No, me neither.
No.
I think the cuteness she's got down. Temperament and behaviour, maybe not so much.
She's very cute, cuddly. You try and tell her to do something? Nope.
No.
Absolutely not. Pretty sure that her favourite thing to say, obviously inside, is "fuck you, daddy."
Yes.
She does that quite a lot. Tell her to do something, she'll just like lie down and no, I'm going to just go to sleep here.
Yeah. I would love to hear Fred Willard commentate Lara's behaviour one day, but sadly.
Yeah, well, one day.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today we are pitching prequels, sequels, and spin-off ideas to Best in Show. We'll also be pitching some drinking games and hearing from our listeners with the ideas they have posted on Facebook and Twitter. But first, we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments from the original. I was doing so well. But first, we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments from the original movie and catch up with a bit of a plot summary. I'm Harry, the host with the most dog hairs on me right now.
Always, yeah. Even before you had a dog, that was usually true.
It was weird, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And joining me as always, the biggest bitch of the podcast is John Lucas.
Off.
So Best in Show.
Yeah, well, like I said last week, we just did our 200th episode. That's hard to say too. We just did our 200th episode last week. And now we're back to a regular schedule again. I did promise you that I'd give you some films that I thought you would enjoy a bit more than some of the ones we've done. In the
Films
last few
plural.
weeks.
Good.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to stop sending the occasional curveball your way, but, it's always better if you actually enjoy watching what we do.
Yeah.
On some level.
Yeah.
Whether it's a good film or a bad film.
Becomes less of a chore.
Exactly, yeah. I don't want this podcast to be... It's been 200 episodes. I don't want this podcast to become a chore for either of us. So I thought, hopefully, this one's been on my list for a while. And I thought, hopefully, Harry will find some things to enjoy in this film. Mm-hmm. So, did you?
Yes.
Oh, thank God. What a relief. Okay, well, what did you think, then?
This film is thoroughly enjoyable.
Yes, it is.
It's difficult not to enjoy this film. Like, whether you like dogs or you don't like dogs, because you're basically just laughing at how ridiculous dog owners are.
Oh, completely, yeah, exactly. I think if you're a dog owner, dogs, you can recognize a lot about dog owners and dog behavior. And if you hate dogs, you'll be like, thank God I don't have a dog.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It's kind of win-win.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think you could make this film with cats.
No, I don't think so.
Maybe that's your sequel, I don't know, but...
No.
Well, I don't know if they do. Do they do competitive cat shows? I don't think... Not in the same way, surely.
Yeah, I don't think so. Certainly not like sell out a stadium.
No.
Cat people can be very attached to their cats, but also a lot of cat owners do just resign themselves to the fact that the cat just sometimes lives in their house.
Yeah.
That's it.
Also, I think one big takeaway from this film is that most people have dogs that resemble their own personalities or resemble their own dog's personalities.
Yes.
And I would say that cat owners probably don't need the approval of a of a competition.
Yeah.
They don't need you to like them. Whereas dog owners are like, please like me, love me.
That's very true. That's very true. Now, one thing that once I sort of got into this a bit more and sort of understood what it was, I was kind of hoping for a bit more of all the owners like completely matching their dogs. And like they sort of did like personality wise, but I was hoping for a bit more sort of like, the intro to Lady and the Tramp.
Yeah,
Is
sure.
Lady and the Tramp?
Yes, when you see all the people who are drawn to look like their dogs.
Yeah. I really enjoyed that, and I was kind of expecting a bit more of that in this, but it wasn't quite.
It's quite subtle. I think the humour in this film, it is laugh out loud funny. I laughed frequently watching this, and have every time I've seen it, because I've seen it a few times. But it doesn't go for like the really obvious jokes. It's quite subtle in many ways, which I quite like actually. It's the small little details that really get me and stay with me rather than just the obvious stuff. So
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. But I think that's definitely there. I think all of the characters definitely. I think the dog breeds for each character are chosen very deliberately and very well. Like you can really see the reason why each couple or each person owns that particular kind of dog. So.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Which begs the question. I mean, we'll do a plot summary now. Which was your favourite couple? Or favourite dog group?
I think it's got to be the sexually frustrated couple.
Oh, the angry ones.
Yeah.
Meg and Hamilton Swan, yes,
Yeah.
with their hunting dog. They've got a Weimaraner, I think they're called.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they're very funny.
That being said, I was so stressed out while watching them.
Yeah. Well, that's because they're a very high-stress couple, and
Yeah.
that really goes on the screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That was the only one that made me worry a little bit for the actual real-life dog, because dogs do pick up on like human tensions, and like they are so high-pitched at all times. Like, but it's really, really funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like them. I mean, I like all of them. I mean, predictably, Jennifer Coolidge as the rich...
Yeah. She's
the gold digger.
Yeah.
She's fantastic. Most people know her as Stifler's mom, but I guess for you, it's probably Friends.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she played Phoebe and Monica's fake British friend in...
That was it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's great. She's in a lot of things. She's fantastic. She's always very, very funny.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's go through it. Let's do the plot.
Yeah, go for it.
This isn't really a plot-heavy movie, particularly.
No,
so it's more of like it's a mockumentary at first. I'd say that. It's directed by Christopher Guest, who did Spinal Tap, has also done A Mighty Wind for Your Consideration, Waiting for Government, loads of classic kind of... These are the things he does, these very dryly funny mockumentaries about specific weird little hobby groups and niches. They usually have the same actors, like Eugene Levy is in most of them. He writes most of them with him. Catherine O'Hara's been in most of them. Jennifer Coolidge is in most of them. So you'll see the same people crop up over and over again, which is what makes it really fun. I'm sure we'll do some more of these in the future. Yes, so it's directed by him, and it takes place in a dog show in Philadelphia in America. And it follows the mockumentary format, and we're introduced to, I think, 5 couples or 5 contestants, not all couples.
Yeah.
5 or 6 contestants who are bringing their dogs to the shows, and we kind of learn a little bit about them. The first half of the film is us learning, just being introduced to them and who they are and what makes them tick and why they are the way they are.
Yeah.
And then the second half kind of arrives at the dog show, and that's when it really gets hilarious, when they actually start competing. Yeah.
I mean, it's hilarious.
It's hilarious from the start.
It opens with a joke.
Yeah, yes. So it opens with your favorite characters, which are the Swans.
Yeah.
Who are these very yuppie-ish, kind of New York-ish, early 30s kind of couple who are like live in coffee shops, and they're in marriage counselling basically, because they're. We open on them talking about how this unseen figure, who you're led to assume as a child, has walked in on them having sex. And how they're worried that he's been acting out ever since, and they think he might be deeply traumatized by what's just happened. And then, of course, it pans out, and it's a dog on a...
The dog is just lying on a stool, like as though it's dead.
Not looking at them.
Just looking extremely unhappy and unresponsive, and it's great comic timing.
Yeah, I think that dog gives the best canine performance in the film. They really got a lot of that particular dog.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Beatrice has been showing signs of depression.
She's also been very, very angry with us. Ever since she saw us having sex. When you were having sex, was it different or unusual in any way?
We got a book, Kama Sutra. I lit some candles and played some music and got myself in a position that wasn't very easy for me emotionally. It's called the Congress of a Cow, where the woman is bent over, the hands are on the floor, and the man is behind.
What did she do when she saw you? She just stood there staring at us. She didn't say anything. Didn't say a word. What would you like to say to Beatrice right now?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry you had to see that.
Beatrice, can you look at us? Come on, honey. Mommy and Daddy are over here.
So yes, they're the first couple, and they clearly have a lot of deep-rooted issues in their relationship. They're very snappy with each other, and they get into these really stressy arguments. But they seem to project everything onto the dog, and the dog is like their surrogate child, which is the case for everyone in this film, I think. Nobody in this film seems to have actual children. They just have the surrogate dog child, which again is very often very true to life.
Yeah.
And so that they really are taking this dog show incredibly seriously, and they're constantly worried that the dog is stressed or upset, and the dog seems perfectly fine at this point. Obviously later we find out it's not, but obviously it's their own stresses that they're just projecting onto the dog. It's very funny. So we've got them. Then we have Jerry and Cookie Fleck, played by Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy, who
Yeah.
obviously have recently been very famous thanks to Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
So, they play once again, they're playing a married couple, which they often do, and they always do so very well.
Yeah.
They're just a great match.
And they're so well cast in these roles. I assume these roles were like written for them.
Well, this is the best thing about this film. It wasn't really written. It's
Right,
all
okay.
improvised. Like,
Yeah.
the concept obviously was written, but
Yeah.
the way Christopher Guest makes these films, and that's why he uses the same people. These are all like very experienced improv comedians. So they've all got lots of like stage and stand-up experience and stuff. So they basically... There's not really much script, so a lot of the lines in this film are just improvised. And that, which I think is so impressive, because it makes them even funnier. Some of the lines I don't think would be written funny, but just the way they're delivered, just because you can tell they're just thinking of it in the moment. I think my favorite example of that, and it makes me laugh every time, is Jennifer Coolidge at the beginning when she's talking about her marriage to the old guy, and she's like, "We have so much in common. We like soup." And I don't think that's like funny written down, soup, but it's just the way she says it.
Yeah. No, I like the way that scene sort of escalates. Like, so much in common. Like, we love talking together and not talking together. We could talk or not talk together forever.
And still find things not to talk about. Yeah, it's fantastic. They're all so talented.
Leslie and I have been together 5 years. We have an amazing relationship, and it's very physical. I mean, he still pushes all my buttons, and, people say, "Oh, but he's so much older than you." And you know what? I'm the one having to push him away. Yeah, we both have so much in common. We both love soup, and we love the outdoors. We love snow peas and talking and not talking. We could not talk or talk forever and still find things to not talk about.
So, yes, it's all improvised. There's not a lot of scripted dialogue, and I think it makes it all seem a lot more natural as well. Like the style of acting is very naturalistic, where they kind of talk over each other and they feel like a real couple. This couple. So Jerry and Cookie Fleck, they've got the cute little terrier, Winky. And I loved all the shots of just at the very beginning, there's a couple of shots of the interior and exterior of their house, and just the doggy decor really. The little terrier postbox.
I love the letterbox.
The letterbox is
great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
But the whole house is just like an ode to Winky.
Yeah.
And they seem very much in love. They seem to be a very happy couple. But she has a bit of a past. She's been a bit promiscuous before she was with him, it seems. And so that's kind of one of the big running jokes of this film, is that she's constantly running into guys that she's slept with, and there's lots of these allusions to the fact that she's had like hundreds. Because there's a point where in the opening introduction between these two characters, he says, "Oh, well, she had dozens of boyfriends before me," and she goes, "Hundreds."
Yeah.
He goes, "Oh, hundreds?" Yeah, hundreds. I did not know that. And just his uncomfortable reactions to all of that.
It's a brilliant running joke.
Yeah. I mean, this whole intro is just great when he's talking about, "Well, I was quite the stud as well back in the day," and you get this horrific like high school photo of him. Like, and then they talk about how they met and they wanted to dance, and he's like, "I said, no, I've got 2 left feet." She goes, "I thought he was kidding." And then it pans down and he's got the 2. He's medically got 2 left feet.
I love that one.
That was really...
I love how it comes back later as well.
Yeah, it's like a real runner in it. Yeah. So.
But we started dancing.
He didn't want to dance. I was like dancing by myself.
I did not want to dance because...
Say, get up, Jerry.
I kept saying, I can't dance. I can't. I've got 2 left feet. I got 2 left feet.
I thought he was kidding.
But I wasn't. I was born with 2 left feet, and they had a nickname for me. They used to call me Loopy because I would walk in little loops, kept going in circles, and then with some therapy, I learned how to walk a straight line
And dance.
And
dance.
And dance.
Oh man, you got moves better than Winky, I think.
Well.
So they're generally quite happy. They've got this little terrier, but they do have this running bit of tension where she's been very promiscuous, and it makes him very uncomfortable. And as I said, throughout the film, she runs into all these ex-boyfriends and ex-lovers, and it's one of the great running jokes of the film. And then there's also, as we mentioned, Jennifer Coolidge as Sherry Ann Cabot, who is a kind of your classic gold digger, this kind of, busty not particularly bright, very kind of made up, glamorous kind of woman who's...
I mean, that's her in every role.
Yeah, exactly. This is the role.
She's found her thing and she does it well.
Definitely, that's what she plays in everything, and she is fantastic at it. Yeah, so she is... but I've read a quote which I think is very true. Is I think you have to be very smart to play someone that's stupid and do it well. Like you could do that a very basic kind of gold digger, but I think she makes it so detailed and funny. So she's great, and I love her in everything she's in.
Yeah.
So yes, so she is married to a rich billionaire who doesn't speak. He's in this one scene, but he doesn't speak. He's just this like very ancient man.
Yeah, and
she's talking, of course, about how people say he's so much older than you, but actually I'm the one who's shoving him off. And there's this weird close-up of his like pained expression. And yeah, as we mentioned, she's talking about how like she's trying to claim they've got loads in common and the age has nothing to do with it, but it's very clear that they have nothing in common because he seems to be barely alive. But then we find out that she's got this poodle called Rhapsody in White, who's this ridiculous poodle. Like it's so ridiculously like groomed and fluffed, and it's got the little legs and the little floofy ball of a tail, and it's just so imagine an overgroomed poodle basically, to the max. And again, it's the dog is her, she is the dog.
Definitely,
matched.
Yeah,
and so she's got this relationship with the dog trainer who is Christy Cummings, who's played by Jane Lynch from Glee.
Yeah,
and she is a lesbian. Clearly.
Yep. Not subtly.
Turns out they're both lesbians. Spoiler alert. But so they've got this friendship, and she's the dog trainer, and Sherry Ann, Jennifer Coolidge's character, has kind of given her loads of money to kind of revamp her dog kennels, and in return she trains Rhapsody in White, and they have this kind of team together where they run, where they enter the dog show every year, and they have won the Mayflower 2 years in a row with Rhapsody in White.
Yeah.
And they're aiming for their third victory, and Jane Lynch's character is extremely competitive, takes it far too seriously, which is another big running joke that she clearly thinks she's like a rock star in this tiny little world.
Yeah.
That's the other thing about these films I think that Christopher Guest does really well, is that it's all like very niche, these small little, it's a dog show. It's really not like they're going to become big celebrities out of this or make loads of money, but to them it's everything.
Yeah.
And to her in particular, it's like everything. And it's really, really funny.
With Sherry Ann, we have this fantastic friendship, too. It's really great. And we have a little bit of a family dynamic going here, and it pretty much mirrors what I grew up with, My father was the taskmaster, the disciplinarian, which is what I do. I'm the mommy/daddy. That's right.
Like Mr. Punishment.
Oh, well, and also reward. But Sherry's responsible for the unconditional love,
And the decorative abilities.
Exactly, the heart and the soul, which is what my mother did, and that was her job. She was there for the unconditional love. And it worked for my family, until my mom committed suicide in '81.
Then we have the gay couple, Scott and Stefan.
Oh, yeah. These were fun.
These were a lot of fun. I think everyone's fun. There's not a weak one in the bunch for me. I think every character is really fun.
I mean, they were very stereotypical, but it was in such a entertaining way. It reminded me so much of the sort of comedy you get in Modern Family.
Yeah, have they both been in Modern Family? I feel like they would have popped up. I feel like Stefan must have popped up as like a friend of Cam's on some episode or something.
Yeah, I really feel like I recognise him. He just looked like a few different people.
He's very much that guy. He's been in Arrested Development for a few episodes. I can't remember who he played, but he pops up in everything. He's one of those, and he usually plays these kind of bitchy gay men. So like Jennifer Coolidge, he's found his perfect type. He does it very well.
Yeah,
and so it's him. The actor is called John Michael Higgins, and his partner Scott, who's played by Michael McKean from Better Call Saul. Yeah. They're this middle-aged gay couple, very much in love, very happy. They seem to be the most like secure couple of all of them in the film.
Yeah.
And they've got these very camp little Shih Tzus.
Yeah. They had two of them, but only one of them was like...
in the competition. Well, maybe they were resting the other one.
I guess,
you can only answer one at a time, so maybe she's the best one. Yeah. But yeah, so they are, like you said, they're very stereotypical, and they love like a gay joke. Like they're one of the best running jokes is that every time anyone says anything completely innocuous to them, they'll make, Stefan will make some campy joke like, "Oh, give me some meat," or "My name's Mary, proud Mary." It's just there's all this kind of very like innuendo heavy stuff basically, and like they're way more obsessed with being gay than any of the other people. Like nobody seems uncomfortable with them being gay. There's no like homophobia in this film. It's more that Stefan just makes a huge deal of it all the time.
I liked a bit later on in the film where they go to the hotel or whatever just by the dog show.
Yeah.
And then they start like hammering in the wall and putting drapes up and everything and like really making themselves at home.
Yeah, exactly. They're very extras. Like how many kimonos for a 2-night stay? Like,
yeah.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And they seem to be real old hands at the Mayflower as well. They seem to have been a few years. And they've got a bit of a rivalry with Christy Cummings, the Jane Lynch character. And there's some great stuff with them just being really bitchy about her when they're watching her on TV.
Yeah. It reminded me of my favourite joke from Modern Family, the one that's really stuck with me because I find it to be so true. It's that gay men and gay women just don't get on.
It's true.
They've got nothing in common.
No, we're thrown together by adversity, but like, it's true. Have you ever been to a gay bar? Like, we don't like the same, talking in stereotypes here.
Yeah,
we don't like the same music.
Yep.
We don't like a lot of the same pop culture.
Yep.
We don't sleep together. Like, why have we been thrown together? Just 'cause we have nothing in common. Like,
you don't share sexual partners?
No. There's literally no crossover between gay men and lesbians for the most part. I have many good lesbian friends, but like, in general, this kind of enmity between like this.
But you're friends with those people not because they're lesbians, but despite the fact.
I've forgiven the lesbianism. Yeah, I can look past it and get over it. Yeah, so. But yeah, so they've got this very like bitchy, catty relationship with her, where they love to slag her off, and especially like the way she dresses and the way she's so kind of desperate to win and like very needy. But otherwise, they seem very nice. They're very nice to all the other competitors. They're not like bitchy to everyone. So yeah, they're a lot of fun. And finally, of the competitors, we have Christopher Guest himself as Harlan Pepper, who has the Bloodhound, and he's this kind of very rural, kind of simple man of the countryside, kind of deep south kind of guy. And he just really loves his Bloodhound, and he loves nuts, and he loves.
I love that joke because it was absolutely nothing.
Yeah, I watched this with my family last over Christmas actually, and my brother, for some reason, the nuts bit, he was like crying. That was the bit that really got to him. Like, it's literally just a guy in a car naming nuts, but the longer it goes on, the funnier it gets.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so dreary that it goes all the way back around and becomes funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah. He basically has this talent where he says he can name every type of nut, like, as if that's a talent that anyone's ever going to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's got this blood. He's kind of there's no real heroes and villains. Everyone's got, apart from maybe Christy Cummings, but like, they're all likable in their own ways, even though also the Swans aren't very likable. But you know, Jerry and Cookie are very likable. The gay couple are very likable.
Yeah.
But I think Christopher Guest's character is kind of the heart and soul of the film in a way, because he doesn't have the most funny plot line, but he's like, obviously loves his Bloodhound very much, and he's kind of a fish out of water. He's not really cut out for these competitive dog worlds. But, so he's just a very likable in that way, where he just seems to take everyone as he finds them and just enjoy the moment. It's nice.
Yeah. I liked when he starts off and says, like, you know, if the police needed a dog to, fight for them or run into a burning building, this is the dog that they would come for.
Yeah.
This is the dog that can do everything.
Yeah.
So sure of himself that his dog is the best.
Absolutely. Well, they all are. They all like believe that their dogs are superior in every single way.
Yeah.
And then we followed.
Although I really feel like the poodle didn't really get much screen time. Like the poodle wasn't as much of a character as any of the others because
it was all about her. That's like the gay couple say, it's not about the dog, it's about her. So the dog is really second, whereas the others really like dote on the dogs, and for her the dog is like just a prop to her to getting glory and to winning another trophy. So, yeah. But yeah, so the first half of the film just kind of follows these 5 couples as they kind of make their way to Philadelphia to compete in the competition, and we find out more about them. So we find out that Cookie and Jerry, as well as having this slightly dysfunctional marriage, also they love to sing. There's the dog loves a terrier scene where they're in the garden singing this uncomfortably high-pitched song. That was what really made me laugh. It's like, it's a pretty simple song that they've obviously written, but it's so out of their range, and it's just very unpleasant on the ear, which is and the way that everyone's really impressed by it in their like friendship group just really like tickled me. So they're on the road and they make a stop.
I feel like they nailed like the Florida pensioner kind of thing, like driving in their camper van and just,
100%. Yeah, definitely.
They nailed that.
Yeah.
How long have those two been old?
Eugene, Levy, and Catherine Horrocks. So
I feel like it's longer than they've actually been old people.
I don't think they're as old as you'd think. I think now Eugene Levy's 70 and Catherine Horrocks about 60 something. So they were probably within like in their 50s and 40s respectively in this. So,
okay.
Yeah. I know what you mean. I
feel like they were playing up a little bit here.
Yeah,
playing older.
Well, I mean, Catherine O'Hara's been playing mum characters for literally 30 years. I mean, she's literally Home Alone mom, and she's
Is she?
Have you really just noticed that Catherine O'Hara? Like, do you ever go on the internet?
I've seen Home Alone like once.
No, sure, but that was with Schitt's Creek becoming popular. There was literally a whole meme this past year of like people realizing that Catherine O'Hara played.
Right.
So you clearly don't spend time on the internet.
No.
So yes, Catherine O'Hara played the mum in Home Alone.
Ah, cool.
Yes, so she's played mums literally for like 30 years. So that's probably why you think of her as being older than she probably actually is.
Yeah.
But yes, they're about middle-aged in this, I would say. I wouldn't say they were elderly in this film. But yeah, so they hit the road on the way to Philadelphia, and on the way they stop over at a friend of Cookie's, who turns out very quickly to be an old boyfriend, when he immediately like grabs her ass and just deep snogs her while Jerry just looks on.
That was weird.
It was, and then they have this very uncomfortable dinner where this guy is just unashamedly, unabashedly hitting on her, and she's just lapping it up, and Eugene Levy's just increasingly uncomfortable. And it turns out that this guy is a hostage negotiator, or or he talks down people who are suicidal.
Yes, people who are about to jump off a building.
Yeah.
He's the guy who talks them down.
Yeah, and then so Eugene Levy says like, "How many people have you saved?" He's like, "Oh, they always jump." Like, that's the trick of the trade. No one ever doesn't. They always jump.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they've got this clearly very very troubled little son who goes outside and steals Winky the dog, the terrier, and sits on the roof with him. And then you see
he's got a little parachute, like
like he's going to try and throw Winky off.
Yeah.
And then the dad just starts screaming abuse at him, just like
So, no, guys, I got this. This is what I do. It's fine. I got this. Like he's just said that he fails every single time.
Well, he doesn't think it's a failure. He thinks that that's just always people who want to commit suicide will always jump. So, and then you can see why he always fails, because he's just hurling abuse at this little boy. It's very funny. And we never see what happens with that, but Winky's fine. So presumably it all worked out. Yeah, so they make it to the dog show hotel, and they quickly realize that they actually don't have any money, because they try to pay for their hotel room on their credit card and it gets declined. And so they're kind of stuck. And fortunately, the hotel owner takes pity on them and puts them up in literally the basement in this sad little like spare room.
Closet.
It's a closet. Yeah.
It's just full of like all the cleaning stuff for the hotel.
Yeah. You really root for them because they really go through it in this film.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. So but they get there, and then there's like a big reception at the hotel for all the dog owners, and then we meet all the other couples who are there as well. So I think the party is being hosted by Sherry Ann and Leslie, and Christy. Sorry, Sherry Ann and Christy. So all the other couples are there, and you've got the Swans who are really stressed out, and we see them all interacting for the first time a little bit. They all meet each other. Like some of them already know each other, some of them don't. But like we see the Swans, the New York dysfunctional couple, stuck with Harlan. He's telling some really boring story about fishing, and they're just deeply, deeply uncomfortable. Once again, there's some random guy who recognizes Cook. He's like, "I've never done it on a roller coaster before, girl." And poor Jerry is incredibly uncomfortable once again. But then we get to the actual dog show itself, and we get to them preparing for the dog show, and they're all like backstage getting ready. And this is where the Swans really become, their storyline really kicks in, because they're super, super stressy with their dog. And we saw them arriving at the airport, and some guy went over to pet their dog, and the dog tried to take a bite out of him. So clearly this dog has big behavioural problems.
Yeah.
But they're completely blind to it. They clearly a ticking time bomb. So it goes for this guy, and they get completely defensive, and they're like...
So I've just remembered at the start when they're in their therapy, and they're describing like, and so we got a book, Kama Sutra, and we were trying out this new position. You know, the woman's in the front on all fours and the man's behind, and like they're not saying doggy style.
Yeah,
but
it's the Congress of the Cow. Yes, it is doggy style.
It's good.
Yeah. But yes, so while they're getting ready at the dog show, they're having this massive fight, and they're really stressing each other out, which is obviously stressing the dog out. And then they realise that they've left the dog's beloved toy, the Busy Bee, behind at the hotel. Yeah. So he just screams at her and tells her to go back to the hotel and go and get Busy Bee.
Yeah.
So she literally runs out of the room screaming, which I really found really funny.
Yep.
And then he gives the dog this really hilariously intense pep talk. Don't look at those fat losers freaks, you look at me. It's great. It's great. So that she runs back to the hotel to find the Busy Bee, and she turns the hotel upside down. Can't find the bee. She racially abuses the Hispanic cleaning lady. She's like, "You stole her," you know. Doesn't make any... It's just horrible, really obnoxious. Then runs to the local pet store, and again has a complete freak out. Won't listen to anyone. The pet store guy tries to help her, because it's a specific bee, and he gives her like a teddy bear that's like got in a bee costume, and she's just like, "That's a bear." And then he offers her all kinds of different toys, and she has a complete tantrum, just ends up grabbing one that looks nothing like the bee, and just storms out, and then goes back to present the toy, and they have another big fight. It's like, that's not the bee, and they have a whole big fight, and it's clearly not going well for them whatsoever.
Not at all, no. I was so intrigued to see how this story went, because like you very quickly find out that like all the all the main characters, their dogs are all doing really well.
Yes.
And the way this dog competition works, like it has a round of like the Hounds and a round of the Terriers, and like, you know, there's one picked from each group, and that goes to the final.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, okay, so all the characters are going to get to the final, and then, you know, how they're going to go. How's this really stressed couple's dog gonna do? I can't quite see this one going to the final, but literally all the other ones are.
Yeah.
And then the dog just like attacks the judge.
Yeah. Clearly this was not going to go well.
No.
So yeah, the dogs all get into their individual categories, like I said, they're based on their breeds. And this is where we're introduced to probably the big breakout character from this film, which is Fred Willard. Well, there's two commentators. There's Fred Willard as the very American, the Buck Laughlin, who clearly knows nothing about dogs.
Yeah.
Not filtering in the slightest, just like saying what he thinks. Just, you know. And next to him, this very reserved British guy who's clearly an expert and has written all these books, and who's just very, very dry. And like, it's such a good pairing. It's a really good pairing. But Fred Willard is so funny, like so many great lines that he comes up with in this film.
Yeah. I found it a little weird that all the judges, they didn't have any kind of character. They didn't have any sort of jokes or anything. And so I was kind of wondering, like, is this real? Like, did they go to a real dog show to do this? Because also, like, they filled a stadium with people, and it clearly wasn't faked in any way. Like, it wasn't green screen or cardboard cutouts or anything. So, like, did they get a stadium full of extras, or did they just like crash a dog show? Just like, there's a dog show happening in the city, so we're just gonna, you know, just go there, pay everybody like, you know, 50 quid for the day or something, just to hang about for an extra hour while like the judges read some lines or whatever.
Well, I mean, I'm sure, I don't think they crashed a real dog show. I'm sure it was like a setup, you know, filmed production.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, this is, obviously these dog shows do exist, you know, and I've read some articles where apparently like it's incredibly accurate. Like I've read reactions to this film from professional dog handlers and dog breeders and judges on these things, and they say, yeah, we've met every single one of these couples. This is incredibly accurate. It's like,
well, so they did their research.
Yeah, 100%, which is what makes it even funnier.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so each of the dog breeds is going through, and as you mentioned, all of our main characters, for the most part, qualify with ease. So Cookie and Jerry, the little terrier, wins the terrier round. The Bloodhound wins the Bloodhound round, which is considered a bit of a shock because he's a very young dog, and the British judge kind of says, well, he'll be ready in a couple of years, but he's not quite there yet. So he's immediately like our underdog. And I loved when he won his round. Did you notice Christopher Guest just jumps up and goes, woohoo!
Yeah, I noticed that.
Because his character's really like down here. Like very soft-spoken and doesn't say much. So that the way he just kicks his legs in the air and just goes, woohoo! Just really tickles me.
It was, yeah.
Obviously the poodle wins his round. Christy Cummings wins her round. This is where you see the gay couple watching on the hotel TV. And they're just like ripping into her outfit and her behaviour. Just like, what do they call it? They say she looks like a cocktail waitress on an oil rig, I think, or something. So specifically bitchy. Like, and then you see on the TV, you see after she wins, she runs up to Sherry Ann and just gives it like this comedically deep snog, just like, and you see her like knees going and everything, and it's just like,
but then she falls over.
She fully falls over. It's so hilariously funny. Yeah. So that you clearly realise that that they've clearly got a relationship, which was pretty obvious anyway.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. You might want to see this. It's Miss Cummings.
Uh-oh.
Is it ever Miss Cummings? Oh my God.
Bob Mackey, where are you when we need you?
She looks like a cocktail waitress on an oil rig or something. Doesn't look at the piping. Look at the piping.
She tries to be so self-possessed, but look at the terror in her face.
Well, you know, it's all about fear for her. It really is.
It's all about her.
But yeah, so they win. The gay couple win. Their little Shih Tzu wins. And then we finally get to the swans round, the hunting dog round. And yeah, the dog is running around, and as soon as the judge goes up to look at it, it just leaps onto the woman, tries to Fred Willard says, tries to take a bite out of her like she was a glistening ham or something. Like, is immediately disqualified and dragged off. So that's a good payoff for their whole little arc there.
Yeah, totally. I loved, I don't know her name, but the female swan.
Oh, Parker Posey.
Yeah, I loved her reaction in the audience.
Yeah.
Like just utter shock, like she couldn't move.
Yeah, because you've got one couple doing the walk and the other half of the couple. So you've got, and it's clear in each couple which it is. You've got the showy one. So Cookie is very glamorous, and whereas Eugene Levy just sits in the back. Yeah. Same with Leslie and Sherry Ann, and in the gay couple, the very flamboyant one does all the walking in his fabulous suits.
I loved
that
it.
Fabulous purple suit where he just walks out with his arms out like he's the queen or something. And gets this huge, obviously like a big fan favorite, gets this huge round of applause. It's great. Like, very much a showman. So yeah, the reactions of the ones that are just watching are also very funny.
Yeah.
So yeah, the other dogs all go through to the final, except for the hunting dog, who is disqualified. And then we get to the final, and they're all getting ready to go out. And then disaster strikes when Cookie falls over, twists her ankle, or her knee pops out or something.
Yep.
She injures herself, and her attempt, Catherine O'Hara's attempted walking is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. I don't know how she did it. I don't know how she did it.
I don't know either, but like she does it later as well. Like when she walks back onto the pitch, and you see that for like a full on walk for like 10 meters. It's great.
She injures her leg, so she can't walk, and so she says to Eugene Levy, like, "You need to do it. You need to show Winky. You need to show Winky." So he reluctantly agrees to walk the dog out. So we get the final go around. All the dogs are being walked around for the last time, for the last judging round. And we've got Fred Willard just giving all kinds of hilarious observations about all of them. What was your favourite Fred Willard? Is there any one line he said? Because there were so many. Any stand out to you?
I can't think of any right now.
I like it when he just randomly says, it's so sad in some parts of this world, these dogs will be eaten.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
It's just always really inappropriate.
Yeah, it's all very like non-PC. I think he mistakes Christy Cummings for a man at one point.
Oh, yeah.
He says he recognises Cookie Freck from somewhere, which is she seems familiar to me. Like,
I missed that one.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got so many good lines.
Yeah.
So they're all going around, and then as Jerry walks out, obviously he looks so uncomfortable. And fantastic face acting from Eugene Levy, where he just like looks really nervous, and we get the payoff of the 2 left feet joke where the commentators notice that he's got 2 left feet. I've never seen anything like that before, and he's kind of waddling around because they've got the shoes and everything, like the 2 left shoes. It's such a funny visual. Like, so they're walking them around, and it gets to the final judgment, and the terrier wins. Winky wins.
Yeah,
and we see like all the other, like the gay couple are very gracious.
They are. They
congratulatory. Like, they're nice. They've got it sorted out. Yeah. The Bloodhound guy, he seems a little bit disappointed, but he's fine. But Jane Lynch is pissed.
Yeah,
she is furious.
Yeah,
but they win. He's like Cookie. He's like Eugene Levy's in like total panic status. And then, like you said, you see Catherine O'Hara come like staggering out with a dodgy leg, just all over the place. And then you get this great shot of them holding the dog in the air, and there's the photograph, and the dog's pulling that hilarious face. So great.
Help me.
Yeah. and then it cuts to like, I think it says 6 months later, where we catch up with them all. We catch up with them all after the dog show. So we find out what happened to them all next, and we see that Cookie and Jerry became like local celebrities. And you know that they didn't really become local. Like, we did 2 radio interviews. It's like, but they're recording an album of their dog shows on cassette in 2004. Like,
was it 2004?
this one came out in 2004. No one was recording cassettes. Like, that just adds to the humor there. They're recording an album of like doggy novelty songs. Which is really funny. And then we get the last joke where the sound engineer once again recognizes Cookie. And they're having a whole flirt, and you just see poor old Eugene Levy just banging his head against the microphone.
I liked it when she said to him, like, "Wow, how you've grown." He said, "Well, I'm growing right now, just looking at you."
Oh, yeah, it's so gross. It's so gross. We find out that Harlan Pepper, the Bloodhound guy, he's kind of gone on to a new career. He's trying to make it as a ventriloquist.
Oh, yeah.
And he does like shows for elderly veterans and stuff. So he's doing this very sad looking little show where he's like running around with his puppets, and he's doing a lasso over his head. It's good.
Oh, it's terrible.
It looked like horrendous, but very funny. Jane Lynch and Jennifer Coolidge, like Jane Lynch is still furious that she lost the dog show. Clearly it's been deeply affecting to her. She's like, it was wrong, and it was outrageous, and it was deeply disturbing. But they've got through it. They're now together. I guess the old guys died. And they've set up American Bitch, which is America's leading magazine for ladies who love ladies who breed dogs. A very specific market. And then the gay couple, Stefan and Scott, they have set up a calendar that they're doing a photo shoot for a Shih Tzu calendar, which is putting the dogs in costumes and recreating classic movie scenes. Like Gone with the Wind and
I really enjoyed that.
That was great. I would buy that calendar. I would 100% buy that calendar.
Yeah, totally.
And finally we get the Swans, the dysfunctional couple. They are still together. They're back in therapy, and they have got rid of the dog, which is a bit ominous. They're like, well, I mean, that's the joke that they are terrible dog owners, but like clearly they've blamed everything on the dog, and they're like, well, we're so much happier now because he was a bad dog. He was a very hurtful, destructive, troubled dog, and our new dog's so much better, and he doesn't mind watching us have sex at all. He loves it. And it pans down, and the dog is humping the therapist's leg.
Yeah,
it's great.
Absolutely bizarre. Good pick.
Yeah, I thought you'd like it. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
a good one. So, any more thoughts, or should we move on to drinking games?
Yeah, drinking games.
Okay, go for it.
So first I've got is drink for teeth choices.
Teeth choices.
You know how many people were like wearing fake teeth or braces, or there's a lot going on.
I thought the matching braces on the swans was a really good, like, subtle joke, but it really added to their just.
Why were they wearing braces?
As it just seemed right, you know. I don't know. It just because they're so stressy. I don't know. It just seemed right that they'll be wearing adult braces. Because they're those kind of like nerdy characters, I guess.
Yeah.
So yes.
But I loved Eugene Levy's fake teeth.
Yeah.
Like he clearly couldn't wear them. Like he always looked very uncomfortable in them.
Yeah.
But it just added to him.
It really added to his character so much. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I had a drink for doggy reaction shots. I like this one, but you know this film is full of them.
Yeah. I've got drink for dogs barking. Doesn't happen as often as you'd think.
No, more in the background. Apart from the hunting dog, he's the only one I think who barks a lot.
Yeah. But yeah.
Drink every time Jennifer Coolidge is shown eating. Which I think is every time she's on screen. It's obviously like a deliberate thing. She's always got like a snack on the go, which adds to the humor of that character. Like she's always seems to have this kind of like binge eating thing going on when she's. I like it when she goes when the poodle's on and she gets really nervous and she goes backstage and she orders an extra large popcorn, half butter, half salt. I couldn't figure out if that's a real thing and what that means. I was trying to visualize what half butter, half salt in a single. Because it's not like she's got two compartments. I could tell it was one big tub. It was one big like giant American-sized.
Well, like you can get sweet and salty popcorn.
Yeah, I know there's you can get buttered popcorn. Yeah, two things. But what does she mean half and half?
I don't know. It's a thing.
Okay,
but
I couldn't tell if it was like a subtle joke or just me not understanding how Americans eat.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But I liked it anyway. It was fun. And but she's really good at that kind of deadpan, vapid kind of. You know,
yeah.
I'm going to stay here until I get another message from myself.
Drink for gay stereotypes.
Yes, sure. But
plenty of.
Speaking as a game, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's done in a very affectionate, funny way. And like I said,
it is.
I think the joke is that they are way more obsessed with their own sexuality than anyone else who meets them. Nobody in the movie appears to be particularly uncomfortable.
No, totally not. But like everybody in this film is just a massive stereotype of some form.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, I really like it when they're flirting. Well, when Stefan first in the butchers when he's making all the meat jokes, and then at the hotel as well when he's really flirting with the hotel manager who's just giving him nothing back. It's really like very uncomfortable.
Yeah. So drink for Catherine O'Hara's ex-boyfriends.
Yes, there's a good one
because there's so many of them.
Excellent.
Yeah. And I've also got drink for people over fussing their dogs or like bigging up their dogs.
Oh yeah,
you know, saying, "Oh, he's definitely the best dog in the world." You know, if the police needed a dog, this is the dog they take.
Yeah. I like there's a very like subtle little scene where it's Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy talking about Winky, and then just going, "Could you see a more likable dog? A more friendly, happy to know your dog."
That's weird.
Just great. It's fantastic. Oh, drink every time Fred Willard's character says something inappropriate.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
That's got to be a big one for the second half.
Yeah,
so much you could do there. How do they get them so small? Do they is there like a shrinkage system or? Great. Okay. So that's all I've got.
Right. So listeners, if you've enjoyed that and you've enjoyed any of the previous 200 episodes that we've done, 200, blimey.
Wow, 201 now.
Then you can support us by going to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset. If you do, you get a few bonus features. We do film reviews, latest releases on streaming and in cinemas. Whatever's about at the time. You also get a 30-second advert slot on the main show. You can talk about whatever you want, your own podcast, your own business, whatever you want to plug, really. You pay the bills, you get the plugs.
Indeed.
Also, once a month, we do a Patreon episode where we get a Patreon picked at vaguely random to pick the film for us for the main show. You can come and guest if you want to, but you don't have to. It's a great way for me and John to just watch some films that we would never have watched otherwise. We've had some great picks recently. I think it's my favourite tradition that we've got on this podcast.
Yeah, get other people to make us watch certain films.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Because it really does sort of broaden our horizons.
100%. Yeah.
Rather than just picking Glenn Close movies all the time.
All right, let it go. There's been like 2. It's been ages since I've made us watch a Glenn Close movie.
So if you want to be a part of that, want to become a deluxe Beyond the Box Set listener, go to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset. And thank you very much.
Thank you.
Let's see, Alex. What do you think of Jaws, which is at 97% Rotten Tomatoes?
I find it to be anti-shark propaganda. What do you feel about the Entourage movie, which is at a meager 33%?
I think they finally got Hollywood right. How about It Follows, 97%?
Worse than your parents giving you the sex is evil talk. How do you feel about Juno, which is at 94%?
That would be a movie that celebrates a teenage homewrecker. How about Bewitched at 25%?
Best television adaptation ever put to film. How do you feel about American Hustle at a towering 93%?
Overwrought awards bait. Righteous Kill, 19%.
The movie that Michael Mann wishes he had made when he created Heat.
Sounds about right. I'm Julio.
I'm Alex, and we are the Contrarians.
As you can tell, our thing is that we rage against the Rotten Tomatoes machine.
Regardless of what we really feel.
Find us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn,
Facebook, Twitter, we're everywhere.
Okay, so the first idea I've come up with,
Okay.
I've called Best Friend in Show.
Best friend in show. Is this like a human version of the competition?
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
So it kind of takes the first idea I come up with, which is the same movie but from the dog's perspective.
Okay. I can see that, yeah.
For which I was thinking, why not we try and cast some celebrities to who
Oh,
who
so
would
like
voice these
it's
dogs.
the same events, but it's the dogs in a monologue that we're hearing.
Yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
it's the exact same film, the exact same events that they're happening.
Could even be the same footage, but it's just we're hearing the dogs over. Yeah,
totally, yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
In fact, yeah,
cool.
literally the same footage. So the only one I've got so far is the Hound, who's obviously going to be... It's not Sam Elliott. Sam Neill? Who's the one who's in Star is Born?
Oh, Sam Elliott, yeah.
Sam Elliott.
Yeah,
okay,
Sam Elliott. Surely he's voiced a bloodhound before. He is a human bloodhound.
Yeah.
Like, there's no question, yeah.
It's definitely him.
It makes perfect sense, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking that since...
In fact, I think he might voice the Bloodhound in Lady and the Tramp.
Oh, that would
the new
definitely
one.
track, yeah.
Yeah.
So, well, he could do it again. So it's the role he was born to play.
Yeah.
So Sam Neill is... Not Sam Neill. Sam... Elliott, you're doing it to me now.
Sorry.
Sam Elliott is the voice of Harlan Pepper's Bloodhound.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
And do you think he's going to be very loyal to his owner?
Oh, definitely,
They've
yeah.
got a good relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it when he talks about nuts.
Yeah. Yeah, he's really impressed by the nut thing.
I wish I could say macadamia nut.
Yeah, you won't believe what this guy can do. He cracks me up, this guy. It's a new thing every minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I was thinking, since Winky is clearly very much a surrogate child for Catherine O'Hara and Eugene Levy.
You thinking Dan Levy?
I'm thinking Dan Levy, yeah.
Yeah?
Could work.
Yeah, I know. I guess like what Grace just always a little bit sort of disgusted by everything. Oh my God, why are they picking me up here? Why am I on a garage roof? Oh no, don't throw me. Oh.
Well, I think it's fun because Winky's so cute.
Yeah.
What if like Winky was actually incredibly anxious all the time and maybe like really nervous because I think Dan Levy plays nervous, anxious very well in Schitt's Creek.
Yeah.
Like all of the little marital issues, he's really freaked out that they're going to break up one day, and that really terrifies him. So because he loves both of them very much. So
Yeah. No, that's definitely very good casting.
So he's really trying to be the best Winky he can be at all times, just because he feels like it's his responsibility to keep them together. So,
Yeah. What about the poodle?
Ooh, who could voice a poodle? It's got to be someone very... Well, you could go the obvious route and cast like someone with a very posh... Or you could go the other way and make it...
I was going to go completely against type.
Yeah, and make it a really rough and tumble poodle.
A male voice of some kind, even though it's like a very feminine-looking dog.
Well, I was just thinking of Pensatucky from Orange is the New Black.
Oh, wait, which one's that again?
The one who's like real like trailer trashy kind of one.
That doesn't narrow it down.
Oh, the one who starts off as a villain, but then she
Doggett.
Doggett, yeah. Is it Doggett?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is it is that
the one who has like really bad teeth in the first season?
Yes.
That gets fixed.
Is that Pensatucky as well? Or am I mixing up two characters?
Maybe. But like, she always puts her hood up, and she's quite a short one.
Yes, her.
Yeah.
Yes. What's the actress called? She was in the band for a while as well.
She was a fantastically well-written character.
She was great, and she had a real arc as well. Taryn Manning, the actress is called Taryn Manning. I'm just thinking like, because they're so upper class, but maybe the poodle is like has this very like trailer trashy kind of voice. So she could do a similar voice to the voice she did for Doggett, maybe. Who are you saying you were thinking of?
I wasn't thinking of anybody specific, but no, I think that would probably work. Yeah. To do a trailer trash thing just to turn it on its head. What about the Swan's dog?
The Swan's dog. Okay, that's got to be someone like a very angry dog, like
angry or like unhappy.
Unhappy, or just like super. Well, I mean, it's got anger issues. It bites people, so it's something
that's
need
true.
someone who's going to be able to do the rage.
I don't know. I don't know who the actor is. I don't even know if they're still alive. But from God damn it. Really forgotten this film.
Is it one we've done?
No, it's not. It's a famous war movie.
No.
About the Vietnam War. It's the Apocalypse Now?
Oh, Apocalypse Now.
Is that the one that's got the colonel who like shouts in everyone's faces, who like really sort of started that?
Isn't that Full Metal Jacket? I might be getting mixed up.
Maybe.
I mean, there's a lot of war films with colonels.
But that basically.
Okay.
Yeah, like that sort of army colonel who will just like shout in everybody's faces, call them maggots.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think that's the same character, but thinking of those films, I think it's Full Metal Jacket. Vincent D'Onofrio.
Oh yeah,
he could be a good like angry dog.
Yeah,
he kind of looks like an angry dog. You know?
Yeah. But I think everything should be at like 11.
Yes, just a constant state of anxiety. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's just constantly shouting at both of his owners like all the time, never stops, never a moment's peace.
Yeah. Cool. Sounds good. And then you need the Shih Tzu, I guess, or both the Shih Tzus.
Yeah, both the Shih Tzus.
You could do it like the ladybug in.
You could, but I was thinking,
Life.
like, would it be fun to just have
Cam
these...
and Mitch?
Yeah, that totally works. I was gonna say just like overly gay characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cam and Mitch probably does fit.
Or
just to completely match their owners.
Indeed, yeah.
Cool. So now we've cast them all. That's the first idea I've got there. But then I sort of developed that a little bit and came up with what is the title Best Friend in Show.
Okay.
And so this is an alternate movie, but we can definitely do the same thing. But it's where the dogs are actually in charge and they're bringing their humans to the show to be judged for how good a human they are.
Oh, wow. Okay. Is this like an alternate universe then where dogs rule the world?
I'm not sure. I think it's more of like it's the same universe, but we don't realize that the dogs actually organized this.
Oh, so maybe the judges have dogs.
And like all the humans, they think that they're bringing their pet dog to be judged and to win best in show.
Ah.
But actually the dogs are the masterminds behind all of this.
I like this. So yeah, so maybe the judges at the human judges at the Best in Show competition, the Mayflower, have their own dogs. You'd think they probably do. And those dogs are the judges in this in this side doggy competition that's happening. Yes, and they're giving out their prizes too.
Yeah. So they're judging for the best humans.
Yeah.
So like when the dog came and jumped up on that judge in this film, it was kind of like, no, not those humans. No, they're the worst.
They've got problems, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, and then
because like if you look at this film, if you look at all the people in this film, who are the best people? Who would you say are the goodest people, with the most heart?
Yes, probably Jerry and Cookie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So,
they deserve to win.
Sure. And I was thinking if you do it that way.
There were others, like say the gay couple. They were very warm-hearted and they were great, but they just really wanted to win that competition.
They wanted it a little bit too much.
Yeah. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, that could be really good too, because you could have the idea that they're showing their best human, and then when Cookie hurts herself, you have to switch out for Jerry. Maybe the dog's like really stressed out, like, oh no, this guy's not ready for this.
Maybe that dog didn't think. Maybe what was the dog called again?
Winky.
Maybe Winky didn't think that Cookie was going to be. Oh God, I can't show Cookie. Like she's going crazy right now. This is terrible. Oh, I know. I'll trip her up.
Oh, okay.
It was all an inside job.
Interesting. Okay. Well, or it could be another dog tripped her.
One of
the other dogs is like maybe Christie's dog.
Yeah, like a Itonia kind of situation.
I've got a really funny mental image now of the poodle just like lifting up one paw, just like softly just tripping her up, so she goes flying over. Because I like the idea then that he's like, oh, because he loves Jerry. Winky loves Jerry, but he's like, Jerry's not ready for this. He gets very nervous. Like
he's got 2 left feet.
Yeah, it'll never work.
He's a train wreck.
But he's like sending comforting vibes to Jerry and like guiding him through. He's like, just follow my lead. I'll do this. And, and then when Winky wins, it's actually that Jerry's won, and so Winky's very happy that Jerry's won best friend in show.
Yeah.
That could be a nice little end as well. So, I like that idea as well. So yeah, all the dogs are like you said, they're going to be a lot like their humans. So the poodle can be super competitive and just trying to sabotage everyone. The Shih Tzus can be very catty and campy. Yes, and the Bloodhound's just like very down to earth and not really bothered about the competition at all. Just wants to talk about nuts all day. I really like that. That's a very.
But yeah, so like just turn that around a bit, make the dogs in charge.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Is that all ready?
Do you want to do yours?
Oh yeah,
because my last one is just like, where are they in 20 years?
Oh sure, okay. Well, so my main idea, it is a sequel.
Okay.
It's a catch up. It's based on the fact that this film is shot as if it's a documentary.
Yeah.
So I decided for this, just take away the acting elements and just imagine that this was a real documentary.
Okay.
That was just made about the dog show, because they're the kind of things that get made. You know, it could just be a documentary someone's making out a dog show. And because these characters are also ridiculous, the documentary became a big hit and it was a huge success. Made them all kind of minor celebrities kind of thing for a moment. Like a Tiger King kind of Netflixy thing that we'd have now, like this documentary that goes out is successful. So I'm thinking we come back 20 years later and they get reunited for a follow-up documentary. And I'm thinking maybe it is inspired by, because sadly Fred Willard has passed away, so he can't be in it. But he's such a breakout character in this, I feel like he can't just pretend he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I think his character, Buck Laughlin, I think he's called, the commentator, has died. And this documentary is like a reunion documentary. It's like a reunion documentary in tribute to him.
I see, yeah.
And you can see how because he was such an inappropriate commentator.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of all the humour in this being in a very like similar style to the original, kind of subtle humour. I was thinking like, because he was so inappropriate at commentating the dog shows, maybe he became one of like America's most famous and respected journalists. And you can have like a clip reel of him commentating over all kinds of really serious events, like, but in his style of just saying the wrong thing completely.
Yeah.
Like the royal wedding or, you know, the election or 9/11 even, just like, you know, just saying all the wrong things at every potential. But somehow in the world of this film, he's like the greatest journalist in America. So so he's died and, you know, the whole country's in mourning. Maybe not
I love it.
So this documentary has been reunited all the cast to kind of pay tribute to him and also to go back to this 20 years and find out how they all did afterwards. And so that leads us a very open door to just pick up on where they all went over the next 2 decades after the competition.
Yeah.
So we start with Jerry and Cookie.
Sure.
And I'm sad to say, I've decided that 20 years later, Jerry and Cookie are divorced.
No, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. Well, also, the other sad thing about doing it 20 years later is that all the dogs are dead.
Yes.
Because, you know, time passes.
Yes.
So it turns out after Winky died, their relationship deteriorated because Winky really was the glue that held their relationship together. And after Winky, they had nothing to focus on. They were too heartbroken to get another dog.
Yeah.
And it all started to fall apart a little bit. And it ended because there was an affair. But I think Cookie didn't cheat on Jerry because that's too obvious. Jerry cheated on Cookie.
Oh, with who?
With a neighbor. One of the neighbors in Florida.
Yeah.
Who I'm thinking, a neighbor who suffered, a woman, a female neighbor, who suffered from terrible vertigo.
Okay.
You know the condition that Liza Minnelli has in Arrested Development where she falls over all the time and gets dizzy. Just because like he's got the 2 left feet thing, so I wanted it to be something similarly like comedic.
Yeah.
So yeah, he had a fling with his neighbor who had terrible vertigo. And there could be like jokes like, "Oh, she fell into my arms," you know, because she was always falling over. And next thing I knew, we were in bed together, whatever. So he had an affair after all of, despite Cookie being like a big old, you know, good time girl before they got married. Turns out she was 100% loyal to Jerry throughout their marriage. She never cheated on him, but then he cheated on her with this woman, had this fling, and ruined their relationship.
Wow.
So they've not seen each other in a few years, but they're back separately for this documentary.
Yeah.
So they're brought back. So that's them. That's their story.
Do either of them have a dog?
No, neither of them have adopted another dog since Winky. It's been too painful.
Right.
They just couldn't face the thought of replacing Winky.
Yeah.
So there's a huge hole in their lives, and now they're separated. So, and this is going to be the first time they've seen each other for a few years. So it's going to be kind of a lot of awkward conversations about them, you know, reconnecting a little bit. So that's them. Oh, and because they won the Best in Show 20 years ago, this is kind of reuniting on.
Yeah.
Because it's a reunion documentary, but also it's gone back to the Mayflower, and it's this year's competition, so they're following that as well. So there can be some new cast members as well, which have not really written. But I feel like Jerry and Cookie, because they're the winners from 20 years ago, they're invited back this time as judges. So they're both judging this competition, so they have to work together as well as reuniting for the camera. So they spend a lot of time together after this kind of really bad breakup, and so the film's going to follow them as they kind of awkwardly have to interact with each other again, basically.
Yeah.
So then there's the Swans, of course, Meg and Hamilton, who, despite everything, they're still together.
Yeah, I could see that.
They've actually stayed together.
No, I could definitely see that.
Yeah, but their relationship is still as dysfunctional as ever, obviously.
Of course.
But in a different way. So they now blame the Mayflower competition for almost destroying their relationship, just like they blamed the dog.
Yeah.
They're like, that competition caught us at a terrible time, and the pressure of the dog shows. So they've completely walked away from dog shows. So much so that they're now successful like mindfulness coaches.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just thinking they have to be doing something like very zen, because they're so anxious all the time.
Yeah.
They're doing this like very zen kind of business kind of thing. But
yeah,
it's all
that totally works.
But it's all a bit of a fraud, and they're all still as anxious as ever.
Yep.
And also, they also now are animal rights activists who protest unsuccessfully about these kind of dog shows, because they claim that these dog shows are cruel and exploitative to the dogs that don't want to be there. And it's clearly all about them. It's all just to cover for their own issues, but they're like now participating in the documentary, but also protesting outside, trying to stop. But nobody cares because dog shows aren't considered particularly cruel. It's not like there's a huge, outcry. No. It's pretty much just them, but they're doing it for attention and to kind of deflect from their own issues. So they're going to just have a lot of comedy of them trying to like infiltrate and protest everything, and just everyone just being sick to death of them, basically.
Yeah.
Harlan Pepper, the Christopher Guest character, has become a successful podcaster.
Okay, yeah.
And I think the joke is that it's the most boring podcast in the world. It's about nothing.
Yeah.
It's just Harlan's thoughts. It's like Harlan's Hotspot or something. It's got some very generic title. It's just him talking about nothing, just riffing on his own. It's incredibly tedious because the whole joke is that he is very tedious. But it's got like 3 million listeners a week. It's a huge sensation.
Not a surprise at all.
Yeah, exactly. It's just this massive sensation. People are hypnotized by him. So he's very successful at that. And also, of all the dogs, his dog Hubert is the only one that's inexplicably still alive.
Oh, okay.
Hubert is still alive after 20 years. Because he was the youngest dog. So, 22 or 23 is very old for a dog, but it's been known. It's not out of the question.
Yeah.
So Hubert is still alive, remarkably, and Harlan remains completely devoted to him. Obviously, because he's an old dog, he's going to have a lot of, like, a litany of ailments. He's going to be very, like, not unhealthy, but just, like, a lot of health problems just from being really old.
Yeah.
And so Harlan just completely dotes on him. He's like nurses him and takes care of him for all these things. You could have lots of jokes about that, like maybe he needs like anal massages because he can't do his own poos anymore. But Harlan does, all the weird little things that dogs get when they get old. You got that to look forward to.
Great,
but,
I can't wait.
Yeah. But Harlan does it also. It's going to be very sweet. Like it's going to be funny because you're going to see him like sticking his finger up the dog's bum and like massaging the anal ring, and there'll be other things as well.
Yeah.
Maybe like the dog gets really terrible breath, so he's like brushing his teeth and all. But
yeah.
It's going to be like a sweet joke because Harlan is going to be completely devoted still to this dog, and he's a great he's a great dog owner, and he's a great guy, and he's got this very successful podcast. So that's his story.
Yeah.
Scott and Stefan, the gay couple, finally won the Mayflower the following year after Cookie and Jerry, because I feel like they deserve it, and they probably came second.
Yeah.
So they won the following year, and since then they have moved to Philadelphia, which is the state where the competition takes place every year. And they have opened a luxury dog hotel and beauty salon.
Nice.
So it's kind of in collaboration with the Mayflower competition every year. They welcome all of or maybe they took over the hotel that was already there that they all stayed in. That makes more sense. They took over from the previous guy retired, because otherwise they're driving out of business, and that's not very nice. So he retires, the hotel owner retires, and they take over running the hotel, and they transform it into a luxury dog owner's paradise hotel. So all these wealthy dog owners come every year for the competition, and they stay in this dog-friendly hotel, which is also doubling as a beauty salon for the dogs. So Scott, the Better Call Saul actor, Michael McKean, he runs the business side. He's a little bit more like conservative and sensible.
Yep.
He runs the hotel. He does all the business and the finance. And Stefan runs the beauty parlor. So he's all about the grooming, and also he does costume design for all the dogs in the competition.
Yep.
So you can have loads more visual. Maybe he's updated his references, because in the original film, he dresses the dogs up as like classic, like Gone with the Wind and Casablanca. Maybe now he's trying to appeal to a younger crowd, so he's dressing dogs up as like Avengers or I don't know. What else is there? What other funny costumes? I think a doggy Thor would be very funny. A dog dressed as Thor.
Oh yeah.
Or a dog dressed as, I don't know, what other franchise, like Harry Potter, a Harry Potter dog. Or a Star Wars dog. Yeah, he's
Chewbacca.
He's bringing it all out. He's opened it up. But the two of them, they've got this very successful. They're still very much in love, running this hotel. And they're very much local celebrities, and they're very much part of the community now. So that's their story.
Yeah, no, I like that. I can definitely see that one. I'm pretty sure I know that gay couple.
Yeah, who doesn't?
Yeah.
And finally, Christy and Sherry Ann, Jennifer Coolidge and Jane Lynch. So Christy Cummings, Jane Lynch's character, received a lifetime ban from the Mayflower the following year after she was caught. So after the documentary aired the following year, the year that the Shih Tzus won, she also came back with Rhapsody in White again, tried to win again.
Yeah.
But she was banned for life after she was caught feeding Rhapsody in White, the poodle, performance-enhancing drugs.
Oh dear.
Because she got very, very competitive, and because she lost the previous year, it really made her spin out. So her and Sherry have now separated. They're not together anymore. And she's now moved into the world of greyhound racing.
Okay.
Where she's channeling her aggression into her very competitive spirits into making dogs race.
Yeah.
But I think there's also going to be hints throughout the film that she's also running a highly illegal dog fighting syndicate. So she's gone down a very dark road.
Wow, okay.
And she's got all this pent-up aggression and competitive spirit. And
Yeah.
now she can't use it on the Mayflower. She's put into some very dark directions, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So that's her story. Whereas Sherry Ann, the Jennifer Coolidge character, I'm thinking due to extensive plastic surgery, she looks pretty much exactly the same.
Yeah.
She and Christy broke up, obviously. But with the money she got from divorcing the old guy, she channeled her experience in both makeup artistry and also marrying the extremely elderly. It's two skills that she had.
Yeah.
And now she runs a very successful funeral home where she does makeup on the corpses. So she specializes in like giving makeovers to corpses before they get open casket funerals, basically.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a very funny little thing that she could riff on. And
Yeah, totally.
I loved, going back to the original film, I loved all the jokes about how she's really excited to do Christie's hair. She's like, Christie's makeup, so she's going to do Christie's makeup because she's the epitome of glamour.
Yeah.
With her tiara. But she's going to, and clearly it doesn't work out.
No.
She's like, no, it was beautiful. It was over the top. It was freakish. I looked freakish. I do like what she did with my hair though. And the hair's just like identical.
Yeah, it's the same as always.
It's really great. Yeah. So yeah, I just think she'd make a very good funeral home beautician, which would be a very funny thing with Jennifer Coolidge to be able to do.
Yeah.
So that's it. Basically, the film is, like I said, it's going to follow up on the couples, and we're going to see these storylines of where they've been and where they've come, what they're doing now. But I think the main plot is going to be Jerry and Cookie, because like I said, they separated and they've not seen each other for years. But I'm thinking as the documentary progresses, as the sequel progresses, we're going to see them kind of reconnecting, and the spark's going to come back a little bit. And I think it's going to turn out that despite all of her previous conquests, it turns out that Jerry was the best Cookie ever had. Of all those hundreds, he was a demon in the sack, as it turned out.
Okay.
And she really misses him desperately. And
Yeah.
the whole film, she's like desperate to win him back, and she's throwing herself at him. And he's reluctant at first. He's not quite ready. Which again is kind of the humor, because you'd think he's so much, punched above his weight in the first place, but he's still the one. And he also cheated on her, but she's still the one who wants the relationship to work again.
Yeah.
But ultimately they do, because they are the heart and soul of the original film, so I don't want to keep them apart. So the plot of this sequel is going to be them slowly but surely falling back in love, and it's going to end with them getting back together, renewing their marriage vows, and finally adopting their first new terrier since Winky. So everything's back to everything's healed for them.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
So yeah, that was it. That was Best in Show 2, The Mayflower Reunited.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah,
that worked well.
Thank you. Cool, great. So that was our sequels then, I guess. Shall we move on to listener submissions?
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So Ryan Kleemer made the obvious second Best in Show.
Yeah, definitely.
Runners-up competition, maybe. Sarah Pater said, I just want a podcast that's just their characters from Best in Show traveling and talking about terriers. That's actually where I got the idea that Harlan was a podcaster.
Yeah.
Credit to Sarah for helping me out with that one.
Sure.
Manda Perrott Owens said, an all-encompassing guest quill, Christopher Guest, the director, a giant mashup of all the characters from the movies getting to meet each other. So this is all the other documentaries.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
I know you've not seen many of the others, but the characters from A Mighty Wind, the characters from Spinal Tap, the characters from For Your Consideration. And the funny thing is they're all played by the same basic group of actors. So it'd be really funny they're all playing different characters, but all meeting each other. So I like that. That could be really funny. Tim Morgan said, worst in show, a sausage cooking competition. Worst is in W.
Yeah.
Worst. Yeah, that could be another like niche little competition that it could be weirdly competitive they could do. I like that. Michael Gormley said, best in sow. This time it's pigs. Spotting a theme here. Over on Twitter, at Film Grouch said, the return of Busy Bee. So maybe maybe Busy Bee, it's like a Toy Story Busy Bee. Maybe Busy Bee is actually its own character. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Or maybe it's the dog's. Maybe the swan's dog, maybe after they get rid of it, the dog doesn't miss its owners, but it goes on like a massive quest to find Busy Bee.
Yeah.
That could be like a sweet little bit.
Yeah, that could definitely work.
Yeah. And finally, Julio from the Contrarians, at Contrarian Prime, said, I think a very popular one, it's all a Schitt's Creek prequel.
Definitely, yes.
I think that works very well. So
Yeah. So what, they got really rich and famous off winning this dog show, and that's where they made
changed
all
their
their
names,
money.
Changed their personalities, then lost it all and became the Schitts. Yeah. Not the Schitts. What became the? What were their characters called?
Rose.
The Roses. Yeah, they became the Roses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I'd say that definitely works. Rose is quite a sort of a posh name. So maybe they changed everything to become this, these posher kind of people. Maybe Rose sold more records, Rose Records or something.
Yeah. And also that would explain why in Schitt's Creek, Catherine O'Hara's character is so kind of quite phony, because it's like it's not. There's nothing natural about her.
Yeah.
She's completely left behind the whole Florida, cookie fleck personality completely. So but it's still catching up with her.
Yeah, I like it.
Cool, great, excellent. So thank you, everybody, for those sequel ideas. We ask for your listener submissions every week, a few days before we record, by putting posts out on Facebook and Twitter, where you can post your ideas. So make sure you like and follow our pages if you don't want to miss out. To listen to more episodes of Beyond the Box Set, you can subscribe and browse our back catalogue on any podcasting platform, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and many others, all of which you can also leave a 5-star review, which really helps us to stay on top of the rankings. So please do consider doing that. As mentioned earlier, we're also available on Patreon, which is exclusively for the people who would rate us more than 5 stars if they could. You can find all the relevant links in the description below or at beyondtheboxset.com. And next week, Harry, it's your first episode 200-y kind of pick of 2021.
Yeah.
So what have you got for me?
So you know how every year, once a year, I pick a bad film?
Okay. Just the once, yeah.
No, yeah, just the once, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like really bad.
one, okay.
Like, Lesbian Vampire Killers, Sausage Party,
God.
absolutely anything.
I feel like absolutely anything was like 6 weeks ago.
Yeah, but it was last year.
It was in
wasn't
the last calendar
Yeah.
year. Oh, great. Okay. Well, just so we're clear, you are now using this and committing to this being the last one of 2021 then? The last truly bad film?
Oh, no, I'm not doing this next week. I was just letting you know that's
coming.
That's the thing. So that'll probably happen sometime this year.
Sure, okay.
Next week I think it's going to be a right good one.
Oh, good. What a relief. Oh, my heart slowed down there.
I've not seen this in ages, and it's been on my list for also ages, but I just keep forgetting to choose it. And I remembered last night when I was watching WandaVision. So, Pleasantville?
Ooh, interesting choice. Yeah, but for that, I've seen it, but not for a long, long time.
Same. I've seen it once, and I don't really remember it. And ages ago.
I think that could be a very good pick. I like that.
Yeah, so have to wait and see. Yeah, so thanks everybody for listening, and join us next week for
WandaVision. No,
Pleasantville.
Pleasantville. Sorry, Pleasantville.
Thank you. Bye.
We could not talk or talk forever and still find things to not talk about.